Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Say cheese and pepperoni, because every Wednesday is Schlotzsky's buy one, get one free pizza of cheese, pepperoni, or any other flavor of pizza or flatbread. So make the middle of the week taste better with a free pizza at Schlotzsky's on Wednesdays when all pizzas are buy one, get the second one free. Signature sourdough, fresh toppings. Now that's a win-win pizza. Make your Wednesday lunch and dinner plan to go to Schlotzsky's. It's a great deal any way you slice it. Schlotzsky's, it's a mouthful.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Tuesday, March 12th. 1:06 in the afternoon, and another gorgeous day out there with temperatures already right around the 50 to 52 degree mark across much of the area. A little cooler in the Northern Valley. We set a record yesterday of 70 supposed degrees. The reason we say that is the old Hector effect, where they've been usually 2 to 3 degrees warmer than all surrounding weather reporting stations. So even if it was 68, we set a record. So it was a beautiful day out there yesterday. Guys, did you get out and at least be able to enjoy it?
I did. I got a walk in.
We went out for a walk as well. We took old Sterling in the buggy and we went around the block, and that night it felt like I had been out in the cold for like 3 or 4 hours. My chest was really bugging me from, I guess, just walking apparently.
You still sound stuffed up.
Yeah, man, I don't know. This stuff just will not go away. It's very annoying.
Yeah, well, I know that was going around. Like Janae had it. Well, you know, if Janae gets it, everybody else is getting it. So she had it for a good week or so, and Ronnie had it. So, well, now it's your turn. Stay up there. Don't bring it here.
Sterling's cousin got it, and he got everyone at daycare sick, and then got all of us sick, and then the daycare provider got sick, so she was closed the other day. She's open today, but she's still sick. This crud is just going around like wildfire.
And we've got John on the line. Maybe John knows what's causing all this illness around the area. John, welcome.
Why are we all getting sick?
Yeah, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. John, what's going on?
I sent Dean a picture a while ago.
Hold on.
Alien life form.
Oh.
Because you know.
John found alien life form today.
You did you?
I think Justin has virus X. That's what I think.
Oh, don't say that.
Because,
that's like a 2% survival thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but you've always been in the top 1% in my book.
Super immunity, I forgot.
You'll be fine. Trust me. Sir, I can neither confirm nor deny my sources given that have said that you will survive. You know, in case anyone really didn't notice, the government has admitted without admitting that alien life does exist. And Dean was on the ball this morning like I was, watching the chemtrails that were going one direction, then suddenly changing direction, then changing direction again. Then all of a sudden they all disappeared.
It's like a big S.
And now they're coming back again. Yeah. So what does the S mean? Does
that mean snow?
That it might mean snow.
Snow.
Yeah.
Could mean snow.
Could mean something else.
No, I might. Well, yeah. There's other words that we can't say on the radio.
Man, I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, like yeah.
John, thank you for calling, buddy. Have a great.
I'm gonna go back to further research, and honestly, Dean, it's like that 2-degree anomaly or whatever it is with the Weather Service up at the airport versus greenhouse gases versus global warming versus global cooling versus space aliens.
Climate change. Now you get it right.
Yeah, it's not global warming.
Trust the government.
Yeah.
Trust the government.
Yeah. Hold on.
I got.
No, that's not. It's on Jay's. I gotta find it. It's. There's too much.
I was thinking it was how dare you.
Yeah.
How dare you trust the government?
You got to memorize these, Dean. You killed the bit.
That too.
I got to go.
Thank goodness. I mean, all right. Have a great day, John. Take care, buddy. All
right.
We can always leave it up to John to lighten the day, and we can hear our listeners down south changing the dial.
Yeah, it's probably just that the Eminem dude.
Yeah. Well, hey,
He likes to turn the dial.
He does. Yeah. Hey, I was combing through some records since
Where are you now?
December. So December.
Working, huh?
I was actually
Well, it
today
wasn't his hair.
Crazy.
Whoa! What'd you say? What was that?
Just sitting over here. Just
I heard
hanging
something about
out,
my hair.
waiting. Well, you said I was
What
combing
hair?
through something. and I
No, it
said,
wasn't
"Your
my hair. Wow, man, that's low.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Sorry.
We'll get you back.
You'll get me back.
I'll get you back
I know.
later this week.
Okay, good.
Since December, so December, January, February, and this month so far, how many records do you think we have set?
Oh.
I'd be more interested on how many of those records were decided by 2 degrees.
Oh, now we're getting into a conspiracy theory here. Huh? Right.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about records set, I'm going to take that estimate somewhere around 18.
Okay.
I'll go 21.
Okay. Should we give a rain gauge away?
You can.
Yeah, why not? I got about 38 of them under my desk still.
Do you?
Something like that.
All right.
38, 83.
How many records? If somebody can pinpoint it, I'm not going to say how many. You got to pinpoint it. You can't get close. How many records? Now, this is record highs, record lows, record warm lows, and precip records. Out of those categories, how many records have we set so far this winter? 701-293-9000 for a productive alternative rain gauge. Those things are heavy duty, and again, these are the ones you could leave out all season. It doesn't matter. They're not going to crack. They're not going to break. Again, 701-293-9000. How many records have we set so far this winter? All right, we got a caller on line one. Caller, thank you for calling Weather and Ag in Focus. Can I get your name, please?
Terry.
Terry, what do you think? How many records have we set so far this winter?
23.
No.
Oh.
Nah, good guess, though. Good guess.
Okay.
All right. Caller on line 2, can I get your name, please?
Rob.
Rob, how many records do you think we've set here in Fargo so far this season?
25.
25 is not correct. These are all a little bit on the low side. All right, we got a caller on line 1. So, caller, can I get your name?
Bob.
Bob, all right. So far in Fargo, how many records have we set this winter season?
I got to go with 34.
That is not correct. That's a pretty high number. All right, we've got Rob here on line 2. Rob, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. How many records have we set here in the Fargo area so far this winter season?
37.
That's not correct. I'll tell you.
Numbers keep getting bigger.
It was between the last 2 Robs that we had. Actually, no, it was.
Sure, it wasn't the same Rob.
It was close to that. It was. Yeah, they had different voices. Again, how many records have we set so far this winter season? Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Can I get your name?
Renee.
Renee, how many records have we had?
I'll say 30, and even 30.
Oh, no, that's not correct. Close, Renee. In fact, Rob was very, very close on one of his guesses. I'm not sure which Rob. We got Bob on line 2. Bob, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. How many records do you think? How many records do you think we've set here in the Fargo-Moorhead area?
29.
That is not correct, Bob. Thanks for guessing, though. Caller line 3, can I get your name, please?
Dave.
Dave, how many records have we set in Fargo so far this winter?
I'm saying 31.
31. Dave, you're close, but not quite there. Caller line 4, how many records have we set in Fargo so far this winter season?
19.
19. No, that is not correct. All right. And we've got a caller on line 1. Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Can I get your name, please?
He's gone.
He gone. All right, he gone. All right, we got Rob on line 2. Rob, what do you think?
Can I get your name, please? 28.
28 is not correct. Bob, they're going to get – I've given away 2 hints. I mean, if we're listening close. Bob, what's your guess?
33.
You got it. Yes. You got that correct. 30.
After about 3 times.
33. Yeah, so 33 records so far, and I'm sure we'll set more before March is done. We might even drag it into April, but unbelievable. 33 records. We had
crazy winter.
Yeah, we had none in December or none in November, and then December and February we had quite a few. So, Rob, if we can, we're going to put you on hold here, and our producer Jacob will get your info and let you know how to pick up your prize.
That sounds good. Thank you,
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate you calling. It's 1:15 and 1:16 now in the afternoon. We're going to take a break here. We're going to check out with the Ag Network, and then when we come back, what are we covering when we come back, guys?
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff that I've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I still have things as we're getting closer to spring, and we're going to have more herbicide applications out in the field, that type of thing. So I got plenty of stuff for us. Don't worry about that.
Fantastic.
We'll
All right.
leave it as a big mystery.
There you go. All right. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Mostly higher livestock trade as we near the close on Tuesday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this market update. Well, the livestock complex higher here as we get into the final rounds on this Tuesday afternoon. The market has attracted a little bit of trader interest here. Pork cutout values and box beef prices higher. Market finding some ample support. There hasn't been any cash cattle trade developed yet. It's likely any trade is going to be delayed until the second half of the week. As we take a look here at asking prices, still figuring out some of those asking prices as well here across both the north and south. So got to keep our eyes on that. Box beef prices, I mentioned those higher. Choice up $3.63 per hundredweight, $3.12.51. Select up 90 cents at $2.99.78 per hundredweight. Feeder cattle higher along with fat cattle as the market finding some comfort in the fact that live cattle is higher. Thankfully, the market not only has live cattle markets higher trade to lead on, but also the strength of the market's fundamentals here in feeders as both feeder cattle and calves continue to trade higher. Hog complex mixed as the market's nearby contracts have found some support while the market's deferreds have been slightly lower. Pork cutouts, though, again, helping to support the trade here today. We see pork cutout values up $1.06 at $94.57. We look at the lean hog index currently is down 7, 81.41. Feeder cattle index down 50, 248.24. This is the American Ag Network.
Challenge. It's not something you shy from. It's a chance to up your game. Every day brings a new challenge. But with the enhanced Channel Seed brand on your side, you can rise to it. With our top-performing seed, innovative digital tools, and expanded agronomic support, you can turn tomorrow's challenges into your next advantage. Your enhanced Channel Seed brand. Let's rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
Hear that? That's free money in your pocket when you're a Farmers Union member. For $30 a year, get instant discounts on everyday necessities like food, clothing, car care, household items, even hotels, cruises, and more through the NDFU Benefits Plus program. Use the mobile app to log your exact location for instant deals wherever you are in the country. Go to ndfu.org now and click on member discounts to start saving big with Farmers Union.
Take a look at some of the numbers here on the board. Again, finding some decent strength. April hogs up 165, 84.92. May up 147, 92.07. March feeder cattle up 62, 248.87. April up 57, 253.67. April live cattle up 42, 188.02. And June up 87 at 183.90. We currently see the Dow Jones up 147 points, 38,944. The dollar index up 14 points at 103 even. This is the American Ag Network.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:19 in the afternoon. And We got temperatures right around the 50-degree mark out there, some low 50s, even mid 50s in the far southern valley. So pretty warm temperatures, and, well, it's been a warm winter, and now we're starting to look into spring and summer. And mark your calendars, a week from tomorrow, we will have our LRC spring and summer outlook for the area. We've got, it'll be an interesting discussion because we had in cycle 1, we were very dry up in North Dakota into northwest Minnesota. Cycle 2, we were quite wet with above normal precip. Cycle 3, we went back to being dry. And cycle 4, which we're in right now, we're about 3 weeks into it. It has been extremely dry. But, again, it's only 3 weeks in. It's not even halfway through yet, so let's see. Again, we're predicting the second half of March to be a little wetter than this first half has been, so let's see if that offsets it. But every odd cycle seems to be on the dry side. So the second cycle was very wet. Let's see if this fourth cycle ends up being a little wetter than normal. And those are some of the things we'll talk about a week from tomorrow on our LRC special starting at 2 p.m. So that plays a big factor, obviously, with our ag community. You know, we want to know, are we going to be going into drought conditions? And right now, from the tri-state area down into southern Minnesota, which was very wet in cycle 1, is really, and cycle 3 was quite wet too. It's very, very dry right now. So let's hope that is not a trend as we head into the rest of spring and summer.
Came up pretty quickly. I remember we just did our winter one, and I was like, man, it's amazing how fast the winter will go by when it's been this nice.
Right? Yeah, we haven't been able to enjoy winter, and some people are just fine with that. Right, Bridgette?
Some are, but not everyone. Yeah. And at this point, having a little bit of moisture, we're going to be okay with that. Driving to Minot this morning, I did not see hardly any snow out there. And in fact, there's not even a lot of water sitting on top of the ground right now. So it's, I think most of us are hoping that we start to see a little bit more rainfall as we get into end of March, April, et cetera. So as we get ready to plant our crop and that type of thing.
Right. And we've got Terry on line 1. He's got a weather question. Terry, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. What's your question?
Hey, guys, I'm just wondering, can that monitor at the airport be moved?
That's a good question. What I can tell you, Terry, is there's a meeting set up hopefully next week with the National Weather Service where we're going to address the issue of, their sensor possibly being off compared to other surrounding weather reporting stations. Basically NDON is what we're talking about. But we'll bring that up. Can it be moved? I mean, Justin, do you have your 2 cents on that? That's something we'll talk with the Weather Service about that to see. Where it's at right now, there are certain restrictions that have to be taken when they place it. So I don't know if it can be moved or not, but that's something we can ask them, Terry.
But you have to understand, though, that from where that monitor is, it's like 18 miles like to South Fargo.
Right. True.
I mean, so if we could find kind of a medium place to put it, then that way it'd be more accurate for everybody.
Right. I don't think they want. Oh, by moving it off of the airport grounds. Is that what you're?
They won't. They
will not do that. If you want to move it in terms of like on the airport grounds, that's something we can talk about. But they will not move it off the airport grounds. There's no way. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That they won't.
Well, thank you guys.
Hey, thanks, Terry. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. That was a good question. Yeah. Can it be moved? Because I mean, with the city expanding, there's usually is a good difference, especially in certain storms. Airport might get a whole lot, and South Fargo might not get hardly anything at all, or vice versa. But yeah, temperature-wise, you got to keep that out at the airport.
Well, we could move it, but it would have to be under the cover of darkness, and nobody said it was authorized.
Yeah. Plus, you'd have to sneak onto the property. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I've seen Hector. They got dogs. I ain't
I
hopping
don't know.
the
You
fence.
guys make it seem like you've never done anything like this before, but fine. I'll be the only
We
one.
just can't
Okay,
talk about
so
that on the radio, Bridgette.
and that is the truth. But we can talk about things such as mortonbuildings.com/careers. They are looking for you to be a part of their awesome team. So please go ahead and get a hold of them on their website. Talk to them about upward mobility in a company that's 100% employee owned, about the fact that you can make sure to get quarterly bonuses, you can get paid for bad weather days, all of the above. They really do set up a nice place for people to work. So give them a try. mortonbuildings.com/careers might be for you.
Are you talking to Justin?
I think she's telling
wasn't
me I
giving
gotta switch
anything
my
specific.
profession here.
Nope. I need a guy named Justin Storm to do the weather because that's what you were destined to do. There was no way around it.
You got Dean. He's better at this anyways. I think I should be building buildings. I'd love
See
that.
what you can do.
I think you have no choice. You're staying put.
They're not just Legos over there, by the way. So, okay. Now, as you're asking yourselves questions, one of the biggest questions that I heard from farmers when we were at Commodity Classic in Houston just a couple weeks ago had to do with carbon programs, because there's a lot of them out there. This whole carbon capture thing is happening. A lot of it's attributed to the current governmental administration. Could this change if we have a change during the presidential election in November? That's very possible. We might not see quite the funding that we have been. But if you're considering using a carbon program on your farm or ranch in order to capture carbon and then receive monetary payment for it, there's a few things to think about. Which one is definitely right for you? Well, if a program seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is. You're definitely going to want to reevaluate and make sure you pick something that's not looking like a scam. How does that sound? Then if the organization that you choose to work with wants you to buy something in order for you to receive something back, you might want to ask more questions. That might not necessarily be the trusted source that you want to work with. And really, overall, do you have enough information? Make sure to talk about whether or not these credits are issued through a registry. How are they verified? Who does the verification? And where will the credits be issued, sold, and accounted for? There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle when it comes to carbon programs. More and more farmers are looking at it, even though right now less than 5% of U.S. farmers are currently enrolled in carbon programs. The uptick is possible for more. Not quite sure yet when we'll see that happen. And again, some of that may depend on our presidential election happening in November. So carbon programs really on everybody's forefront.
Hold on. Sorry, Bridgette.
We're from the government. We're here to help.
Of course they are.
Well, we can only imagine that they might be. And carbon's a big concern for a lot of people. You have multinational companies, especially who are being watched by Wall Street, who want to do a better job of reducing their carbon footprint. But what that really means is they want you as a farmer to change your practices to reduce your carbon footprint so those companies can continue to do the things that they already do.
But most farmers do a pretty darn good job.
Absolutely.
Again, we don't need the government getting in on that. I mean, look what's happened in Canada. Look what's happened over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been good. So
not necessarily. And realistically, when it comes to all of this deal with carbon, farmers, especially if you're in a no-till practice or you've been doing some of those things already, you're not going to get rewarded for something that you've already done. It's only starting new practices. So that's not the case with every program. You need to ask all those appropriate questions before you get involved with them. But if you're only going to get paid if you literally stop what you're doing, go back to, say, a full tillage program, and then come back to minimum or no-till, I don't think that's the direction you wanted to head. But ask those questions first before you get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, we got a bunch more ag topics to run down here in the back half of our show, as well as another check on the forecast. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes shoe line. That's 701-293-9000. Emails to the program are weatherorag@flagfamily.com, and as well as those live comment boxes available on Facebook and YouTube Live. We're going to get caught up with bottom of the hour news when we come back. A few more ag topics and another check on that forecast for the rest of the week.
West Funeral Home in your difficult time.
Have you planned for all your life's events? At West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center, we would be honored to have that talk of a lifetime with you. Through pre-planning, we will help honor and celebrate your journey on Earth so you can leave your family a lasting, treasured memory. Discover the difference.
West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center. Little things make the difference.
Tharaldson Ethanol invites you to trade in your job for a career. Just west of Castleton sits one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities, a 170 million gallon per year ethanol plant. Come join a work family of dedicated team members helping North Dakota lead the energy revolution. Pay starting at $75,000 to $80,000 per year, plus benefits, bonuses, incentives, and more. If your job is just a job, trade it in for a career at Tharaldson Ethanol. Apply online right now at tharaldsonethanol.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. Moorhead City Council has passed a ceremonial resolution calling for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
I will be voting for this resolution because that is where my heart lies. This is not speaking on behalf of the citizens, because there were a number of citizens, as specifically a number of them came forward and said that they do not agree with this.
Mayor Shelley Carlson speaking immediately after the council approved the resolution. Carlson cast the tie-breaking vote. A new bill in Minnesota pertaining to school resource officers would allow the same reasonable force rules inside public schools that are followed outside schools. The Minnesota Senate passed the bill, adding an amendment related to the destruction of school property. The legislation now goes back to the House. And Congress is weighing in on the proposal to remove wild horses from Theodore Roosevelt National Park. The annual funding bill for the National Park Service includes a provision directing the park to keep the horses because of their historic significance. Park officials are still deciding on whether the horses will stay. Some claim the animals are damaging vegetation and the local environment. Others point out the horses bring in tourists. A final decision is expected next month. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Do you love working on cars but don't love your current job? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We're a family-owned full-service auto repair shop looking to hire skilled automotive technicians. With our state-of-the-art shops, great work environment with competitive pay and benefits, you'll enjoy a great job with a bigger purpose and a lot of opportunity for advancement. Visit FixItForwardAutoCare.com to apply. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
At Morton Buildings, they're different. From the painted red gable trim to their desire to provide a better quality and better looking building. Even their employees are different. From the construction crews to the sales consultants and plant employees, no matter who a customer interacts with, they can rest assured they're speaking with a proud owner of Morton Buildings who wants to make sure that the customer is satisfied and happy. Ready to be different? Visit mortonbuildings.com/careers today.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
How dare you! I want a bucket of chicken!
Yeah, a bucket of chicken doesn't sound bad on this afternoon. Might have to go run over to KFC and get me some of that chicken when the show is done. But until then, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. It is 1:33 this afternoon. Now, you want to join in on the conversation, the program, feel free to give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. We'll have a rundown on the forecast for the rest of the week coming up here in just a moment. But, Bridgette, there's a few more ag topics we need to get to, and the one that was kind of popped out to me, I guess you could say, was this potential ban on idling trucks in the state of Washington.
Jeez. Yes,
Maybe
you're
you
right.
can tell me a little
That is
more about
something.
that.
That's something from yesterday, actually. And you're exactly right. So Washington State is currently looking at legislation where they would ban like semis, right? So large over-the-road transportation trucks from idling longer than 5 minutes outside of specific locations. And then passenger vehicles, pickups, cars, etc., would also be restricted from idling more than 5 minutes. Now, I think their reasoning for this has a lot to do with emissions and trying to keep those down. But the reality is, when you are using semis and you're keeping them idling, often it's because you have to keep whatever is inside that semi from freezing, etc., or getting too hot, too cold. And that change can really affect a lot of the goods and services that move around the country on the West Coast, especially food items and fresh produce off of farm, etc. So that may not make as much sense as it seems to on paper, but it is something that's being discussed in Washington right now.
You know what? I could totally see this happening that over in Washington, and then of course probably over in Minnesota after that, but they end up passing this stupid little bill to where the semis can't idle for more than 5 minutes, and then everyone's complaining when their frozen foods and the refrigerable stuff is spoiled when it shows up at the store, and they have no idea what's going on, and they get mad at the truckers for that.
And who
totally see
Well,
and who's going to monitor this? Seriously.
okay. So that means
We're going
if
to
you're
GPS your truck.
idling,
If they're not moving, you're getting
okay,
a
so
ticket.
think about this. You're parked at a truck stop. Okay, that's going to make sense. But if you're somewhere else and that vehicle is idling, I think the intention is that anybody could call you, whether it was another business owner, whether it was a resident in the area, and it could be enforceable by law enforcement, which I mean, I hate to say it, but Washington is a pretty heavily populated state. I think they have bigger things to worry
Thank
about.
you.
But that's
I was
just me.
going to say the same thing. I think there's probably bigger issues out there to really worry about than that.
Well, and
We all know
the
how far
state
the
of
bigger issues get.
Yeah.
the state of Washington is also looking at banning tires that like replacement tires on cars and pickups that do not meet efficiency standards from the state of California, because they want, if vehicles pass over from one state to the other, they want them to be the same. So really, California is kind of dictating a lot of interstate business at this point.
We're from the government. We're here to help.
No, you're not.
Yeah, well, we all know
Okay,
where everyone
that's
from California is moving.
Man.
They're moving out. And then they try and implement those same rules and laws to the other states that they moved to after they figured out that they don't work. Oh, we'll try it again.
and I
here.
realize California is
Colorado.
somewhere between 20 and 25% of our national GDP. So they are a huge factor and they're a big chunk of agriculture. But nonetheless, if you look at some of the rules and regulations, they are impacting multiple other states, whether it's in ag or other industries as well. There's quite a few.
That's an interesting little topic there. Someone out there, I'd love to. Well, I'm pretty sure we all know what other people would think, but if you want to chime in on that, 701-293-9000 on that possible.
Well, we did
idling
have
ban.
a email here that says some devices that may, of course, track like certain miles, right? So there's e-logs on semis that track their mileage, hours, etc. And so potentially could that device or software also stop that idling truck, right? Could that be what makes a difference on the length of time that's idling, etc.? So that's possible as well.
Well, there's another thing you could do with that too, because a lot of trucks, semis, commercial vehicles, the big old trucks or whatever, they're GPS speed monitored, so that way you can track what speed these vehicles are moving on to ensure that they're not speeding on the interstates. They could just switch the code around a little bit that says, if the vehicle isn't moving but it's getting an on signal, you're just going to get fined, or the company's going to get fined for every minute or 5, or I don't know what they would do, but that would totally be a thing that they could do, is just flip that around a little bit to send a signal anytime a truck has still been running without moving for more than 5 minutes, and then the company gets fined for it or something.
Well, maybe somebody's looking for a new revenue stream, depending on what state you're in, right?
Interesting. Well, they need the money for all their other little programs they got over there in Washington.
They could. So, all right. As a new homeowner, Justin, and I say new, although you've been in your house for a couple of years now, have you picked up anything for, let's say you want to, kill the grass on the driveway if it pops up through a crack or a seam, or do you have any insecticides to keep those box elder bugs and other bugs down? And you can also go ahead and use, plead the fifth on there if you want.
Well, we don't really have much for insecticides, but we've used the old herbicide, except it's not like a Roundup or anything. We've actually used vinegar, salt, and Dawn dish soap to kill the weed.
I've had some folks who've talked about that. It's basically oversalting the plant and trying to do something similar as to what happens in a conventional herbicide. So the reason I bring these up is much like many perishable goods, say milk or something else like that, you do in fact see that some pesticides have a expiration date where you should use them by. In today's world where we see so many biologicals, they literally have like a living fungus or bacteria inside of them. You have to be careful about the temperatures and everything else that's going on so that you don't accidentally kill off what's living in that jug. The other thing is making sure that you definitely mark those jugs clearly, because often you use a bigger bottle and then you want to move it down to something smaller so that you don't waste space, etc. But if you don't label them clearly, I have watched far too many times someone accidentally killed their lawn because they used the wrong jug. So label everything
I've seen
clearly.
that too, no doubt.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Bridgette, you triggered John with our last subject here about the
I trigger John a lot.
about the idling semis. John, welcome back. What do you got for us?
Well, the no idle law in itself is not a huge shocker because, a lot of the East Coast cities have had those, hell, for decades since I started driving these things. But it's all in how you word it. I would not get too excited when it comes to like the refrigerated trailers because they don't idle. They either run or they're, and they're producing cold or they idle down
And they're
then
quiet.
shut down. Well, and they've gotten a lot quieter. Oh, yeah, when I started driving, you couldn't sleep in the sleeper with one of those running behind you. But, as far as like my company truck, it actually does have what I call the midget minder. And we've had those again for decades where excessive idling by the company isn't tolerated, from a fuel saving, standpoint. So after a couple of minutes, if I'm sitting somewhere, parked, my truck will shut down. The exception is, though, is that some of them, they are coated so that when you get into like weather that's cold enough and, that the driver might, suffer health repercussions, from freezing or whatever, that they will stay running. And that's where it's going to be curious to see how that law is written, as far as, the allowance for that. But I always say when it comes to trucks, trust me, there's always a Barney Fife out there who's gonna ticket you for anything he can.
He's got a point there.
That's right.
That's just reality. West Fargo around here is full of Barney Fifes, but that's another topic that the Jay Thomas show likes to hash once in a while. But no, I mean as far as like I said, the no idle laws, those have been in place, like I said, for decades. So I mean it really doesn't surprise me, in that there are some areas where you're close enough to the general population. But what kind of intrigues me is over the years we fought things like the diesel exhaust fluid, and the low sulfur diesel fuel, to clean up all these trucks. As far even to the point of where the computer actually manages that engine really effectively to keeping things clean. And yet, once again, it's never enough.
That's true, right? All of those details.
All right. Well, thanks, John. Appreciate it. I mean, John would know. Yeah, he's been driving for a while, so I'm surprised he's still got a license, or they gave him a license, to be honest. But I mean, I've seen him.
Who said he had a license?
Well, that's a good point. I've seen him operate snow blowers and riding lawnmowers, and I don't know. I don't know if I'd trust him, but that's all right.
That's not the same as a semi. I mean, that's
what I mean. He can't even operate those correctly. I don't know if I'd put him behind a semi.
Hey, semis have lists. Check it off one after the next.
They may indeed, yes.
All right. Well, let's see. What are we? 144. Do we want to hit one, or do you just want to hit break and come back and wrap it up? I don't think we got enough time.
Nope. I've got one for you. Okay, so in that discussion about pesticides and what you're using, oftentimes, especially we do this on the farm, but you can do it even when you are doing things at home as well. You're going to use specific adjuvants because they make products work better. So, for example, if you are using something like a non-ionic surfactant, and some herbicides require, even insecticides require that you do use that. So non-ionic surfactants, they help you in order to break through that waxy leaf coating. You may not notice that, you guys, when you look at some of the weeds that are in your yard. Some of them have that waxy coating that is a barrier to keep things from entering the leaf. The same with, say, like a kochia plant that has little tiny hairs on it that also hold water molecules away so something can't enter it. Well, if you use a non-ionic surfactant, what that will do is decrease the surface tension, makes it easier for that droplet to sit on that surface, break through that waxy cuticle, and then be absorbed. Now, that activity is called hydrophobic. And again, that means that this is a water-repelling leaf. You can also use a crop oil concentrate. That's a petroleum-based product. I always think of crop oil concentrates as a little more high octane, if you will. If I want to go into, say, a soybean field and I want to control a water hemp and or a kochia plant, I'm going to use something like a crop oil or even a methylated seed oil because I want to use those in order to do a better job of breaking through the leaf cuticle to get the product through that I want absorbed. So I realize that not all homeowners are clued in to using those types of things, but depending on what the herbicide is, even in some cases insecticides, you can definitely add these things to your repertoire. Mark those jugs carefully though and read the labels so that you make sure that you're putting things in the right place where they belong. And if you want to have a better effective control of some of those weeds that plant out of place, I can help you do it with some adjuvants. How's that sound?
Love it. Thanks for sharing, Bridgette. And now we're at 1:46. We'll hit this quick break. When we come back, a few more ag topics. And as well, a rundown on the forecast will be coming up next. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
Hi, Gus here from Precision Concrete Cutters Ramjack North. Due to the lack of the moisture in the soil, we've been experiencing more calls regarding foundation movement. Lack of moisture causes soil to contract and pull away from your foundation. If you notice dirt pulling away from your home, you'll need to make sure that you don't have bigger issues. Cracks in your sheetrock or outside walls, sloped floors, sticking doors and windows. Contact us today at 701-280-7038. Precision Concrete Cutters Ramjack North, your complete foundation experts.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
It's about tradition, values, and family ties. Pucklet Chevrolet GMC's tradition of giving back to our community remains a priority, and that's why we've partnered with many local nonprofit organizations and events. And our tradition of giving this community a fair and honest offer continues. This month, save up to $10,102 on a new 23 GMC Sierra 1500 SLT. We're Pucklet Chevrolet GMC in Valley City. GMC, we are professional grade.
See dealer for details and 43024.
At the Noble Hair Bourbon and Wine Bar in West Fargo, you're going to find an atmosphere that is great for having a conversation and perfectly blended drink. I got a chance to try out Noble Hair in West Fargo, and I got to tell you, I was amazed. I was blown away. Looks great inside, so relaxing, and it's actually a great place to meet friends that have some unique beverages or try some of your old favorites. The Noble Hair Bourbon and Wine Bar on Cheyenne, downtown West Fargo, open Tuesday through Sunday and available for private events on Monday. The Noble Hair Bourbon and Wine Bar on Cheyenne Street, downtown West Fargo.
Are you having transmission problems and struggling to find a place to work on it? I've got some exciting news for you. I'm Matthew from Fix It Forward Auto Care, and we're excited to announce that we're now offering full-service transmission repair for automotive and light truck applications, including repair, rebuilding, and replacement. If your transmission is making unusual noises, slips, or is leaking, stop by any of our 4 convenient FM locations so our skilled technicians can check it out. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
It's time for the Dakotas to be heard, to stand behind new markets for our ag and energy products. I'm Scott Hillen for Friends of Ag and Energy, and you're invited to join this conversation. Go to agenergyfriends.com, agenergyfriends.com. Sign the petition. Stand up for solutions to take on a green, radical, woke agenda. Our ag and energy markets depend on it, and your bottom line does too. For all of North and South Dakota, get the facts. Go to agenergyfriends.com. agenergyfriends.com.
Paid for by Friends of Ag and Energy.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Have all the zoo animals been put to bed? Are we all good?
Well, the animals are out today because it's so stinking nice outside.
I see. Okay. Hey, do you guys remember me bringing up the Corporate Transparency Act here before the new year? Or maybe it was right after the new year. And that was if you started a new LLC within the 2024 year, you had to be reporting that on your taxes going forward, because that was going to be a reporting factor. And most accountants were talking about it as well. If you didn't do it, there was going to be something like a $500 fine for not getting that in. Well, a court in Alabama has overthrown that. So now we're back to wondering, do we have to do it or not? Well, all of you who are taking your taxes in, make sure you have that discussion with your accountants, see what the right ruling will be very soon. But for the moment, we're told we don't have to be doing that, even at the farm level, where again, we have many LLCs that exist.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Well, why don't we do a quick rundown on the forecast, and then we'll hit our last two ag topics for the afternoon. Dean, what's the rest of today and the week looking like? Because I believe we got a cool down in store for the weekend, but what's coming after that?
Yeah, we've got some pretty nice weather over the next couple of days, although sunny today, or at least sunny to partly cloudy, depending where you're at. Currently, temperatures are in the 40s in the Northern Valley, mid-40s. You go into the Central Valley and towards Southern Valley, we're 50 or above. In fact, some of the warmer spots right now, 58 in Wahpeton, also 58 down in areas around Morton and out to the west towards Lisbon. So the warmest weather in the far Southern Valley, and the far Southern Valley topping out in the low 60s, and in and around the FM area, we're looking at upper 50s, close to 60, and in the Northern Valley, only right around 50 to the lower 50s. So a little bit of spread in temperatures across from north to south. And then tonight, we'll see the clouds thicken up, and we'll drop down to a low end of the low to mid 30s. And as we head into your Wednesday, midweek Wednesday, holds a lot of clouds, but still mild, with temperatures in the 50s, a little cooler in the far Northern Valley. And then we'll slowly cool it down as we head throughout the rest of the week. And then by the weekend, we're looking at much colder weather dumping in from Canada and windy conditions on Saturday, a few snow showers possible. Nothing accumulating, but just kind of a reminder from Mother Nature that it's going to feel more like March should as we head into the upcoming weekend. And then we'll start out next week quiet, but then if you take a look at our LRC calendar, if you follow along on that, between the 22nd and 25th, that's our Christmas storm that's going to cycle back through the area. Again, cycle 1, it was rather dry. Cycle 2, it was wet. Cycle 3, that storm was not as wet, but we did have some much-needed precip from that. And then cycle 4 here, let's see how that does. We're getting signs that whatever precip does fall from that will more than likely be snow. So, in fact, I took a look at our AI. So our European model just put out, they just incorporated AI into one of their models. And so that's going to be the wave of the future once they kind of, get it nailed down. They tried it out months and months ago, and it was not received well. It just did not do well. And we'll see how it does with the European model. And Justin, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it for that storm, our Christmas storm, what it was putting down in our area, but it was quite a bit of precip. So we'll see.
No, I haven't dove into any of the AI models yet. I was meaning to do a little bit of reading up on them to see exactly what was going on with them, but I haven't had the time to read those since they're so relatively new. And with our special coming up here in a few days, we'll probably have to do a little reading on those after that.
I've had some questions. Is Gary going to eventually incorporate AI into his LRC model? And we will reveal that a week from tomorrow as well. Is it something that would improve the LRC? Is it something that is improving other models? So I think eventually that's going to be part of weather forecasting. I mean, it is what it is.
Isn't Gary the AI of the LRC?
He really is in some fashion.
He's the,
Just a thought.
the MI.
He very well could be. All right. So one thing that AI can't do is keep everybody safe all the time. It does a pretty good job. As we talk about autonomous tractors, they now have the ability to detect when there's someone close by and can indeed stop the machine from operating, right down to stopping a PTO so there's no danger to someone who's around them. I just want to make sure that we start these reminders early because we have so little snow. I already saw several pieces of equipment coming out of machine sheds and so forth yesterday. We're talking sprayers, planters, tractors, the whole 9 yards. So I might suggest that we all take a little bit of time and be extra cautious in doing that because right now, there's no need to be in a hurry. Let those tractors and equipment move. They're probably not going very far. And the same to those who are driving them. Make sure you have your flashers on, your hazard lights, take it safe. And it's not just about equipment. We have a lot of baby animal season happening. It's calving. We are lambing. You're seeing foals. And it's time to take some extra precautions and be safe around the livestock as well. If you're hauling grain, same thing. There's a lockout tagout program so that you can use that and not have someone in a bin when they shouldn't be and have a grain collapse in there and someone gets trapped. So we can't forget about safety just because we're thinking about all the equipment and work we have to do to get ready to the field. We've got to keep safety on the front of our minds as well. And I hope everybody does.
Well, it's that time of the year. Boy, and it's been a pretty nice calving season across much of the plains and even into the Midwest. Our ag community's got to be loving that.
I would say much the same. That I haven't seen very many calving seasons like this where it's been this dry. I can recount far more that were terrible, whether it was due to snow, rain, mud, you were dealing with scours and calves, etc. This has been really nice. Now, as calves get a little bit older and it remains dry, then dust pneumonia can become a concern where they're lower to the ground, they're intaking all that dust into their lungs, continuing to make them more likely to be ill than a larger animal.
Now, Bridgette, do you recall 2016? That was pretty record warm spring as well. Was that a pretty easy calving season or was there any surprise storms that you recall?
I don't recall one offhand. I am sure one phone call to the brothers who still run our operation at home, and they're the ones in the thick of things when it comes to calving. They will probably remember very distinctly if it was good or bad.
Gotcha. Yeah, good point.
That's probably one of farmers or ranchers' superpowers is always being able to remember what happened that year. Was it an early frost? Did I get in the field early? What really happened? There's usually something that marks that year from many more.
Makes sense.
And usually we have such terrible weather memory. A lot of people have completely forgotten about the ice storm that hit in Christmas. They're like, oh, yeah, that's right. We did have that big storm. I totally forgot.
If you had trees that were down or broken, I don't think you forgot that ice storm. That's going to be a lot of cleanup yet as we continue to get into the spring. I mean, your yard's soft. You don't want to go out and drag a lot around or drive tractors and stuff out there. So given time, the cleanup will continue, but it hasn't really started yet.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for us on Weather and Ag in Focus. Want to thank everybody for joining us. Jay Thomas is supposed to be coming up next. I think he just got back in the building. He's been in jail for the last 24 hours. Kid you not. He will explain all that coming up next on The Jay Thomas Show.